Hey guys, thanks for coming back and joining us today on Just Great Food. Look, we know it's been crazy this year and you may not be having such a large gathering at your house for Thanksgiving, so we're going to give you an easy peasy dish to make that's going to make you the hit of Thanksgiving dinner, and you don't have to prepare a big meal. So we're going to show you how to make pumpkin crusted chicken with a butternut squash cream sauce. And look, it has all the feeling of fall in it, and it's an easy preparation. And all you have to do is follow these easy instructions with these great ingredients here. We have butternut squash, we have roasted pepitas or pumpkin seeds, some Mexican spices. We're going to put this together, show you how it's done, so let us get started on that. Okay folks, so we're going to get ready to bread our chicken breast. Roasted pumpkin seed, pepitas, chicken breast, it's fantastic. We're going to take a little bit of salt, fresh ground pepper. We're going to season our chicken breast, and you want to season both sides. Salt, fresh ground pepper. Try to keep one hand wet and one hand dry. Now we're using our Panko breadcrumbs and our roasted pepitas. We grind them up. We're going to make them into a breading, and then we're going to add cumin. We're going to add chili powder, some garlic, some coriander, some white pepper. And of course, we're going to add some salt to it, making sure that we have the right amount of salt because it's necessary. That's nice. The pepitas are all in there. That looks really good. Next, we're going to season up our flour with some salt, fresh ground pepper. Everything has to have a layer of seasoning. Then we're going to beat an egg. And we're going to add salt and fresh ground pepper to the egg. And now we're ready to start dredging our chicken breast. So we're going to start out with the flour. Take the chicken breast right into the flour. And you don't have to really get a lot of flour on it, because the more flour you put on it, the heavier the breading is going to be into your eggs. Okay, nicely coated. Let's put these out of the way. Then we're going to come over and we're going to make sure that the egg wash is on the chicken very well. And you notice I am keeping one hand wet and one hand dry. That way you have no cross-contamination of any of your product. Put it into the pepita Panko chicken breading. Give it a little shake. Flip it over. Give it a little shake. You really want to press these breadcrumbs on. It's going to give it a nice, light, crispy coating. Man, oh man. This is ready to go to the skillet. Catch a pan fry, ditch it into the oven for about 15 minutes. In preparation of you getting ready to fry your pumpkin crusted chicken in the skillet, you want to make sure your oven is preset at 375 degrees conventional or 325 degrees convection, ready to receive your pan roasted pumpkin chicken. Increase the heat to get it nice and hot. And then we're going to pick the chicken up, shake off the excess breadcrumbs, and into the pan we go. If you see a little spot that you messed up, just pat a little on there. Pick up our second piece. And into the pan we go. Now those breadcrumbs you can reserve for another time. It's not hard to just put them inside the freezer, but we gotta make sure that they're frozen because they've had chicken in them. We're getting ready to flip these in about 45 seconds. You wanna get them golden brown on one side, golden brown on the other. We put them onto an oven safe plate and fire them into our oven. Oh man, I can smell those spices. Smells just like Thanksgiving, but it's on chicken. guys, so we're going to make our butternut squash cream sauce. It's real easy to make. You want to make sure that your pan's nice and hot. You don't want to use a lot of oil because you're going to be putting in cream and letting it naturally reduce. But you do want to get a little bit of color to your butternut squash. So we're going to start out with a little bit of vegetable oil. Remember, you want to make sure that it's sliding across the pan nice and hot. There's not a lot in there. And what I normally do is I take my spices and I toast them in the oil also. Because once the butternut squash starts to release its liquid, it'll stop those spices from toasting any further. You also want to watch how much you do with the butternut squash because you don't want to caramelize the sugar too much and burn them. So, we're going to put a little bit of white pepper, a little bit of coriander, and you can see it's starting to gather up those flavors. Just a touch of garlic, a little bit of chili powder, and you want to get those spices to start to release their flavors. So a little bit of cayenne pepper. And you can always add more later, but I like to toast my spices in the oil so it coats the butternut squash nicely. That oil is getting nice and hot now. Here comes the butternut squash. You can hear that sizzle, and you can smell those spices toasting. Get a nice even layer. And let it sit. Don't move it too much. The oil's in the pan. It's not going to hurt the butternut squash. But what you want to do is let it start to caramelize, and then you toss it a little bit. And then you let it caramelize a little more, and then you add in your heavy cream. Okay, we're going to hit this with a little bit of salt just to make sure that we season up our butternut squash. Toasting in the pan with all the spices, starting to get it to caramelize. Give it a little shake. And you see that nice color that it's starting to get from releasing the sugars in the butternut squash? Man, oh, that smell is absolutely divine. And here we go with the heavy cream. Now you have to stand here and make sure that you don't let it boil over onto your stove because then you have a mess to clean up. And we don't like cleaning up messes, do we? So your heavy cream is going to start foaming and you don't want it to foam over and boil over. So you want to keep shaking it so it's popping all those bubbles, and sooner or later that evaporated liquid will come out of there and it will drop back down and it will reduce. If you have to, lower your heat slightly, but you want to keep shaking it. And you see how it's starting to reduce now? That's what we're talking about. Natural cream reduction. We don't have to add any thickeners. The butternut squash will actually release some of its starch and it'll make it a really nice butternut squash cream sauce. So you want to check and see how close your sauce is to being done. It's called a French term called nappe. You take a cold spoon and you put it into your sauce and you coat the back of the spoon. Then you pull your finger through it and you see if the cream is starting to sag any. And you know what? It's sagging just a little bit. So we give it another 30-40 seconds and we'll be ready to plate this. And man, I tell you, pumpkin crusted chicken on Just Great Food. Hey guys, thanks for giving us the opportunity to show you how to make this dish, pumpkin crusted chicken with butternut squash cream sauce. And if you make this dish at home, we really want to know how it came out. Drop a comment in the section below. But if you didn't make this dish, we'll be selling it downtown on Palafox in Pensacola, Florida at Four Seasons the week prior to and up to Thanksgiving Day. And remember, it is just great food.